Well, good evening and welcome to the Island Stats Cricket Show. I'm your host, Earl Basin. Joining me is co-host Ryan Steed, and we are hoping to be joined by Doc Manders a little later on in the show. Well, Ryan, this week has proven to a lot of people a lot of different things. Let's quickly go down the scorecards from this weekend, and it was yesterday in the Premier Division. Somerset Cricket Club won by 94 runs over St. David's Cricket Club, handing St. David's their first loss of the season. Somerset scored 244 for six and bowled St. David's out for 150. Then today, St. George's Cricket Club won by 5 wickets over Cleveland County. Cleveland County were bowled out for 120. St. George's scored 121 for 5. St. David's Cricket Club bounced back from that loss yesterday to defeat Willowcott by 204 runs. St. David's Cricket Club scored 293 for 5. They recovered from 94 for 4 at one point, Ryan, to score 293 for 5, and then bowled Willowcott out for 89. Bayliss Bay won by 67 runs over Western Stars. Bayliss Bay scored 312 for 9 in their allotted 50 overs, and Western Stars scored 245 for 8 in their 50 overs. In First Division, yesterday, Southampton Rangers won by 7 wickets over PHC. PHC were bowled out for 144. Southampton Rangers would go on to score 147 for 3. Today at the Southampton Oval, record-breaking opening partnership. Workmen's won by 111 runs over Southampton Rangers. Workmen scored 355 for 2, with Southampton Rangers replying with 244. The Women's Cricket League got underway yesterday at Police Field, where Workmen's Club won by 3 wickets over Western Stars. Western Stars scored 54 for 5 in their 10 overs, and Workmen scored 55 for 7. Ryan, let's jump back right to yesterday's match. St. David's undefeated up against Somerset. Somerset were able to do their thing and come out on top, defeating St. David's by those runs. Let's quickly look at the day's play. Somerset batting first. They would score that 244 runs. They got 62 from Dominic Sabir, which came off of 39 balls. He had 2 4s and 3 6s. And CJ Otterbeard was the pick of the St. David's bowlers, 10 overs, 3 for 68, sorry. In reply, St. David's could only get 150. Dean Simons, top scorer was 38. Sabir took 5 wickets for 23 runs off 8.4 overs and that one maiden. Looking at how St. David's have been going, Ryan, talk to me about how that would set them back, just that one defeat. I mean, only because they have been beating all the other top clubs.
Yeah, I mean, St. George's will definitely be smarting because, St. George's and St. David's are the 2 teams that have lost a game.
Yes.
So, it makes it interesting, for a second half of the season, because St. George's and St. David's are, they should be, them 2 teams right now will be looking to battle that out to see who's the top of the table. So, St. David's, losing yesterday and bouncing back today, they bounced back really fast, and with that said, Somerset's got a team. I watched them a week or 2 ago. They got a very young, exciting team that could beat anybody on the day. But it's just a matter of them getting it right. And yesterday, by the sounds of it, they got it right. To walk away with the points needed over St. David's. So yeah, I mean St. David's. That would have upset them a little bit. But again, second half of the season started. So it's right now it's a 2-horse race. And like I said, St. George will be happy for that result.
Yeah. It opens the door back right up for them to settle back into that title race that they were looking for, and then obviously St. David's have to come to St. George's for that second game. So we'll have to see. Let's turn our attention to today because St. George's picked up where they left off. They defeated Cleveland County by those 5 wickets. Cleveland County won the toss and they elected to bat, and they were bowled out for 120. Federal Gibbons was the top scorer with 34. Keishai Darrell was the pick of the St. George's Bowlers. 5 overs, 3 maidens, 3 for 3. And then St. George's scored 121 for 5 with John Tay Smith, the top scorer, 42 not out. Isaiah Greaves did grab 4 wickets for 60 runs over 6.5. But looking at St. George's, they'd be disappointed in losing those 5 wickets on the way to try and get in those runs, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, they wanted to, obviously, the first thing they would want to do is get the W, but I'm quite sure the instruction would have been, let's not lose no more than 3 wickets trying to get this total. It does good for confidence going into later part of the season. So, yeah, they might have been a bit disappointed in that aspect of losing 5 wickets. But nevertheless, they got the W. But it's heating up as the season goes along. Cleveland, they won the toss and elected to bet. Obviously, the game plan obviously didn't work in their favor, but obviously, and St. George's capitalized on it. This young boy Keishai Darrell, week in and week out, he's picking up wickets. He's having a good season with the ball. You look at Keishai, you would recognize him for his batting, but his burning has definitely come on this season, and he's really, he's understanding his role, and he's understanding what he brings to the team for St. George's, and he's really doing well with the ball.
I've been impressed of late with John Tay Smith's spending time at the wicket. He had 3 weeks ago, he had that century, a half century, and he's just been steady.
Yeah, I mean, 3 weeks ago he had a century. Last couple games, been in the 40s. Jonte, has a bit of a professional background. So I'm quite sure he's got that mindset of find what works for you, and stick with it. You know what I mean? Find what works for you and stick with it. So he's got that mindset, and he's probably found a method to help his batting, and he's reaping the rewards. Like you just said, it's been very consistent the last 3 outings. With some very reasonable scores and 100 included. So he's found a method that's working for him, and it's just sticking around. He's occupying the wicket. And he's putting a price tag on his wicket, which is a good thing for him.
I just want to jump back because they didn't play today, and that's Somerset, and we talked about it. Dominic Sabir has been having an amazing season for Somerset in the league so far. He's been amongst them for runs, amongst them for wickets. He's kind of been a silent leader. What's your take on his performance or his performances thus far?
I mean, yeah, I've been following him this season, and I agree. His bat and ball has been on point for Somerset. He's been around though he's young, has been around the cricket arena for quite some time. So he's really he's really shown his full potential. He's really stepped up. He's shown the leadership that Somerset need. He's going to help him through the next. He should, go in, help him through the next generation up that side. He's really stepped up in the last season. Somerset bat and ball, and I'm quite sure he'd be looking for a spot into the. Most players right now are finding form with the Classic right around the corner, with like about 5 weeks away, and guys want to start staking their claim. And I'm quite sure right now I would definitely say he's put his name in the hat and caused him a few headaches to really think about.
Yeah. Evening, Doc. We're just talking a bit about Dominic Sabir and his performances thus far this season. He's really been, one of those leaders for Somerset in the league so far.
Yeah, I just caught the tail end. Yeah, he has been very impressive so far this year, Vetton and Berlin, if you look at it. So, yeah, he's one of the ones, and also the little boy Proctor too, Jamal Proctor.
Yes.
So those are the two. But yeah, Sabir's definitely put his hand up. So it'd be interesting to see what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Somerset, I mean, it's all good. You need competition. A few guys that get in. If you look at that team, it's a few of them that's up in age or has played a lot of cup matches and are probably ready to I wouldn't say retire, but either retire or get dropped. So normally when people say that, they say they retire. So it bodes well for the game, and you like to see the young guys competing for both teams, St. George's and Somerset.
Yeah. You brought up the name Proctor. He's taken advantage of being able to play on both Saturday and Sunday, where he's playing with the under 19s on the Saturday, getting a chance to bat and bowl, and then he's playing for Somerset on the Sunday, getting a chance to bat and bowl, and he seems to be enjoying it so much that he's always up in the runs, he's always up in the if he's not taking wickets, he's keeping the batsman at bay kind of thing. He's not giving up a lot of runs. So, I mean, that's going to be a hard task up there later on in the year. But I mean, when you have that advantage of playing twice a week and you take it, this is the result. What did you say, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, and I have to piggyback over what you just said. These guys are grabbing the opportunity. They're making the most of the chances that they're given. The more cricket you play, the better you should get at it. Proctor's been playing the under 19s, on a Saturday, like you said, and then turning out on the Sunday. So, it's good for his development. It's good for his development the more cricket he plays, and it's good to see that from young players to show that willingness to want to play on a Saturday and Sunday and not be discouraged. So that's a good sign for the future of cricket. Seeing young players like that, showing the interest and commitment that this young man has been showing.
Mm-hmm. Well, we did talk about that bounce back. St. David's bounced back from that loss to Somerset yesterday to defeat Willocots by 204 runs. So they took it out on their neighbors. St. David scored 293 for 5 after being 57 for 4 at one point in time. Derek Bregman was the top scorer with 127, which came off 133 balls. He had 15 fours, 1 6. He shared a 169-run 6-wicket partnership with Mackay Young, who chipped in with 69. Jaden Spencer was the pick of the Willocots bowlers. 10 overs, 1 maiden, 2 for 49. Willocots were bowled out for 89 in reply. Top scorer was Shaquille Bean with 31. Bregman was the pick of the St. David's bowlers. 10 overs, 2 maidens, 5 for 28. With Derek now leading St. David's as the captain, he's leading from the front. He's put this team, and he's got guys with him on his back, and he's kind of taking this bull by the horns sort of thing. It didn't work out too much for them yesterday against Somerset, but to score 127 and then take 5 wickets, that's taking charge of a situation. What do you say, Doc?
Oh yeah, yeah. His definitely, like I said, his doing well this season too. Maybe the captaincy. Sometimes captaincy could take a lot out of the player, but it seems like his driving on it. It's been good with the betting bowl this year. I think he's betting a lot early in the team now. Mm-hmm. And if you look at his bowling early too. So it's basically setting the standard. My only thing with yesterday, I don't know if you guys have talked about it with the scheduling of the games, like so many games not played like yesterday. If you talk about it, that was the only Premier Division game that was played yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And like the board and the scheduling committee's got to do a lot better with the whole schedule this year. It seems like it's not really been thought out. It's just been so many mishaps. Like, how could you tell these guys that they're playing Saturday or Sunday on a Thursday? Like, come on, man. A lot of these guys work Saturdays. They got commitments. If they would have told them a week in advance, then surely they could have made provisions to play. But you tell somebody to work on a Thursday. I spoke to a player, I got to his name last night, and he told me that, like, hey, Doc, I'm working double time Saturday. These guys, put out a game, and this player plays for Cleveland. And he told me, like, come on, man, like, how am I turning on double time? And on Thursday, they're telling me I'm going to play cricket on a Saturday.
Well, to tell you the truth, Doc, they met with the clubs. The club should have never left that meeting with an agreement of that schedule. No. They should have never left that meeting agreeing to that schedule of 2 days' notice for players, groundsmen, for everybody. It's just too short of a notice. They should have never agreed to leave that meeting with the game scheduled for Saturday. It's as simple as that. What they should have done was paused it, wait a week, and then restart it.
Exactly. So when was that meeting held? Because it was this week?
It was either Wednesday night or Thursday night, one of those nights.
Okay, and the thing about it, I didn't know that, but the thing about it, I trained the Stars on Thursday, and a lot of their players, like, they must have sent an email or when a lot of their players didn't know, like, they was playing Saturday, and they were scrambling around for a team, but luckily, they was able to field a team, but, the club should have never agreed to that. You're right. I mean, there's no way, you can't, that's too short of a notice for to play cricket setting and such. It's not like back in the day,
Right.
A lot of these guys, they depend on like working settings, it's about working day. And like you said, if they agree to that, then well, they should, they don't have no grounds to stand on there because my only thing is, how come Willicott's game is going to be rescheduled? So what about the remaining teams that didn't play? So what's going to happen with them? Like how that's going to work out?
Ryan, you wanted to jump in?
Yeah, I mean, I agree, man. The scheduling should be something that should be organized. I mean, beginning of the season. I mean, the way I've spoken to a few players, and there's been a lot of disgruntled players about the way this scheduling is done this year. And I'm glad you mentioned it because I wasn't sure about the facts. But if that's the case, if the clubs agree and walked out, they're just as guilty. So the players should really grumble at the clubs more than they grumble at the BCB. They should be directing the focus at the clubs. Like, how did you all agree on this? To allow this, so again, it has the clubs need to take accountability for their actions. You know what I mean, rather than pointing the fingers at the board, if that's the case.
Right.
Exactly. I agree.
If they are meeting to release the schedule to the clubs, then those that were in attendance, if there was such, then they were the ones that the players should be looking at and asking questions like, how would you agree to this?
And I just want to add this, even the clubs that didn't turn up for that meeting, you're just as guilty. You're just as guilty. And I hope the ones that didn't turn up aren't blaming the ones that were there because at the end of the day, everybody has a voice. You have to exercise your rights, and it's sad that it's it's come to this.
It'd be interesting to see how many clubs showed up for that meeting and the transparency because it seemed like maybe all the clubs didn't know about the meeting, because from what I gather, is this setting Sundays going on for the next couple of weeks, or is it just a one-off thing?
It's the next, I think this week, next week, and Western County and Central County start the following week. So it's this week and next week, I think.
It looks like it's going to be double cricket for quite some time because you're going to have cup match trials coming up. Central Counties.
Right.
Yeah, double cricket probably right up until a week or two after cup match. So
anything about that? So what about how they're going to reschedule the games? So some of these guys are going to be playing Connie. So you got Western County, Central County, and East County. How they're going to reschedule the games? And some of these guys involved with the Connie too. So they're going to either have to pick club or Connie. I mean, that's another thing they probably have to look at too.
Yeah.
So.
But let's take our first commercial break, and when we come back, we'll talk more about Premier Division cricket and First Division cricket. We'll be right back.
Putting down the weapons.
You seeing this? Better Than Bouillon is an oft-featured organic food producer who believe that great recipes begin with great ingredients. This judiciously named brand is aimed directly at the primary stages of meal preparation in the kitchen. replacing traditional bouillon cubes and the like with bases made from organically produced meat and vegetables, resulting in a higher level of purity and a more robust flavor. This month we're featuring Better Than Bouillon organic bases, made with roasted beef or chicken or seasoned vegetables. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
How you doing? It's Coach Bascom here. Listen, I just want to let you know that, guess what? Oh yeah, I've been endorsing Salt. Now, you know what this is for, right? Yep. Smelly shoes. You know, those days that you're coming back from training, sneakers. Yep, you start, you know, you're sitting them in your house, you got them in your room, and you got them in your closet, and you know, you're getting that smell come through. Well, this is what it's for. Excited about it, excited to promote because I believe in it, because I know when I was playing outdoors especially, this is definitely what I needed. Hey, even look at the packaging. Very, very professional company, done on so much work, yeah, with the material, with the bag. Listen, I'm excited about it. Glad to be a partner with them. Glad to be endorsing this product, yeah. And here we go. Get your bag.
And welcome back. Well, let's move on to Seabreeze Oval, where Doc kind of just left. Bayless Bay defeated Western Stars by 67 runs. Bayless Bay won the toss, elected to bat, and they would go on and score 312 for 9 in their 50 overs. Delray Rollins was the top scorer with 86, which came off of 91 balls. He had 5 fours and 4 sixes. Also among the runs was Michael Agard, who scored 82 off of 37 balls. He had 4 fours, 8 sixes. Seth Campbell was the pick of the Western Stars bowlers, 10 overs, 1 maiden, 3 for 57. And then in reply, Western Stars scored 244 for 8 in their allotted 50 overs. Jacon Edness was the top scorer, run out on 99. The old man couldn't get down the track.
No.
His runs came off of 134 balls. He had 8 fours and 3 sixes. Agard was the pick of these Bayless Bay bowlers. 9 overs, 1 maiden, 2 for 31. Bayless Bay seemed to score freely at Seabreeze Oval and 312 runs. You know, it looks a big target, but as we know, for Western Stars to come up 67 runs short, I think they needed just one more batsman, or early order batsman, to kind of get off and get going, which would have set them even a better way to get to that total. But looking at it from your point of view, Doc, in the Bayless Bay inning, where did Western Stars go wrong?
I think the last 10 overs. Agard came in. I think it was like 4 overs, if I remember correctly. It's like 4 or 5 overs left. It was like 230 or 240 for 5 or 6. And I think in the last 4 or 5 overs, man, he just let loose, man. You know, he went from like, okay, well, they get 280 to being 312. Like, you know, he had a few big sixes towards the end. I think the line was pretty big. The guys wasn't building to one side of the field. So they just, you know, towards the end, I think maybe the last 8 to 10 overs, they because after they got Delray out, you know, I wouldn't say they was back in the game, but, you know, you're looking at possibly 250, 260, or maybe, I would say about 280. But to give them that the extra 30, 40 runs, you know, it's probably a little bit too much. But, you know, it was a good fight because Stars, like you said, it was in early trouble, like 34 for 3. And Trey and Jacon made 125, 130 run partnership.
Yes, yeah.
That put them on course. Like, you know, there was like I think it was like 160 something. Then it was 160 or 170 something for 3. And then Trey got out, and then they lost wickets, and he got out, or like they was just starting to get on top of him too. Would have been an interesting. It would have been an interesting chase if Trey didn't get out. I think he got 65, and Jacon got 99. But so like after he got out, you know, new batsmen coming in and taking the time, like, so it really kind of slowed up the run rate.
Well,
but
I think if you look at it, Doc, not to cut you off, but if you look at it, when Jacon came in, he looked to allow Trey to take a lot of these strikes because he wasn't scoring as freely as he was just knocking the ball around.
Exactly.
At one point in time, he had faced 19 balls and only had 3 runs.
Mm.
So he was looking just to solidify the inning and stabilize him and allow Trey to do what he's got to do. And then he started to flow as well.
Yeah, like I said, that's why partnership is important, isn't it? Because you can make up, you can always make up towards the end once you get your eye in. I think both of them start off like kind of slow. Then they start, they were scoring freely. They were trying everything, try different bowlers, and those guys were betting really well. And then, like I said, when they was on top, and when you got a record like that, and then like I said, then the next person that comes in takes a little while to get in. You're losing enough balls, then your run rate's going higher and higher. So I think it would have been interesting if both of them would have stayed in like at least another 5 to 10 overs. And then it would have been an interesting match. But hey, that's cricket. So but I think they lost again when you feel the last 8 to 10 overs.
Yeah. Ryan, 500 and was that 57 runs, 17 wickets in total for the game at Seabreeze Oval. Fair margin?
I mean, yeah, people always say Bears Bay over the years is a smaller field, but truthfully saying that the side towards where the schoolhouse is, that side is pretty long. So, it is a fairly small, the straight boundary is a bit small, but if they say Bears Bay pretty much at full strength. I mean, Rodney Trott came back, Walker played, Jordan Brothers played, Terrence Frey wasn't there, so he was unavailable, but they still scored a total of 300. So it's gonna be interesting when he comes back. What's the best 11? So Bears Bay, they had a very not the kind of first half of the season they would have wanted, but I'm quite sure the second half with all the players coming back, Punny Cup coming close, cup match around the corner, players are looking to find their feet, find their form, make a claim for the spot. And Bears Bay, if the Indy relegation is in, they want to move away from that because the caliber players down there, let's be for real, Bears Bay don't belong down there. So it might be hard for them to defend a title at this stage, you know what I mean? But anything can happen. But I'm quite sure Bears Bay with the players, the caliber players, the Dowrays, the Rodney Trotts, coming back, Fraze and Steve and other Bridges, and even the young boy Hart, he's a fairly good batsman. He batted number 11. And he scored 100 or 2 this season.
Yeah.
So they got a good team, and I'm quite sure they're gonna be looking for a good second half of this season. So and like I said, they're back to full strength. They're looking back at full strength.
Hey Ryan, it's interesting you saw that. You said that too, man, because when I looked at the team, right, and when I got there, I was like, oh, jeez, they, and the people that was there, right, I was like, oh, it's getting close to Connie because everybody was out, looking at the team, and these guys were pretty well focused. Gus Lucky had them doing warming up, and so you could see always, when Connie's coming around, and like I said, a cup match too. But that team there now, with those caliber players that they got back out, Rodney out, like you said, the only person missing was Taryn. So there's going to be interesting if they play anybody with that team. They're going to have a handful with that team now. Everybody, even Jerry Richardson back playing. He's back away from
Jared's
school.
back, you know what I mean?
It's good.
They pushed Zende down in the middle order. He's still consistent with his twin and stuff. He's got to push through and get some big scores. One thing about Zende, he can occupy the crease, for long periods, but he's got to, I've noticed like with watching a few different teams play this year, a few different games other than St. George's. I see that a lot of teams struggle to really run between the wicket. A lot of teams really struggle to run between the wicket. I'm just going to use this as an example. Last night, you're watching the Afghanistan and Australia game, and they was talking about how hard it is for the Afghanistan players to really score off that pitch. But what they done really well was run hard between the wicket. You know what I mean? So the little 1s and 2s, and then the odd boundary was looking at about 7-8 runs and over, and them runs add up over a period of time. If you're consistently doing it, you got a total, you could blow the opposition away. And you know
Yeah.
that's what have been probably. I don't know. I didn't see the game. You saw the game. That's what Bears probably strategy was. You know, just continue to run hard between the wicket and put away a lot of the bare balls. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you be surprised how much your score elevates.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, they're
Good
running
point.
between the wicket. Yeah.
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 I totally agree.
Yeah.
Because it's not only important because that eliminates the dot balls too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're putting pressure on the fielders to come in, then you could go over the top. You know, so that was interesting. You said that. I saw Bay doing that early in the innings when Delray and those guys were betting, right? You know, and then Stars done it too. And Jacon and Trey was betting, like taking the gaps and making the fielders, even though they got one or two close runouts, maybe by direct hit, would have got one on them, but they was bringing the fielders in, and then those guys were going over the top. So you know, it's a strategy. It's important to run, and even in that game, Australia and Afghanistan, when they was doing it, the earlier order bats and running between the wicket, they was bringing Australia in more, and those guys are going over the top too. You know, it's a good ploy to do, but it sometimes you got to be careful because you're going to maybe get one or two runouts because your calling's got to be on point. You know, yes, no, and then sometimes it's too late. But it's a strategy that most teams use. You got to run between the wickets. Only thing with West Indies, I see, not getting off the subject, with West Indies team, they give up a lot of dot balls because they're running between the wickets not as good as the rest of the team. But they can find one towards the end.
Yeah.
So it's something that most of the teams, you know, use that ploy. I mean, if you got a run out, so be it. If you get one or two, then it's going to cost you the game. I mean, I'm sorry, 2 or 3 is going to cost you the game. So it's something that most of the teams are doing now.
But it's a strategy worth taking a look at each time, especially when you got senior guys there. Play international cricket. They understand what needs to be done. Yeah. But let's turn our attention now to yesterday's first division match, PHC and Southampton Rangers. At Southampton Oval, Rangers beat PHC by 7 wickets. PHC were billed out for 144. Devin Dill was the top scorer in 29. Dante Bregman, 8.5 overs, no maidens, 5 for 33. And Mackay Jacobs billed 8 overs, 4 maidens, 4 for 21. In reply, Southampton Rangers scored 147 for 3. Dalen Richardson was the top scorer with 92 not out, and his runs came off of 78 balls. He had 13 fours and 2 sixes. Sage Carter was the pick of the PHC bowlers, 2 for 36 off of 5. So Southampton Rangers pick up a victory against a team like PHC, who we thought would be running away as league titleists or even in that battle for a league title, but it stumped them yesterday. It has put PHC on the back foot because I think this is their second or third loss of the season.
Yeah, I mean, you got PHC, you got Chris Douglas down there. You know, he brings a lot of value to that team, and you know his experience of man. You know, he's a match winner. You know, so you know, PHC rely heavily on his runs. So you know, Rangers. You know, I watched them today. Yeah, Rangers still got work to do. You know, again, Dalen Richardson. I speak about him every time we have this show. You know, the importance of his runs, the value he puts. You know, it's important that he puts a value on his wicket because it's the key to Rangers' batting. You know, he comes in first wicket. You know, he plays. You know, he plays his percentage shots. You know, and looks to score in the areas where he's strong at, and it seems like it works for him. So, you know, you know, he just has to keep on doing what he's doing. But again, you know, PHC, I'm a bit surprised myself because, you know, PHC, you know, they got a good young up and coming team. And again, like I said, with the experience of Chris Douglas there as well.
Well, the unfortunate thing for them, Chris is serving a 4-match suspension.
Yeah.
So I think this is game 2 or 3 for him. He didn't play last week. Yeah, so it's game 2. Yesterday would have been game 2. So yeah. But you know, you mentioned Dalen Richardson earlier in the season. He was coming in number 5. But now you see him coming up the order a little earlier because obviously he knows he's going to run out of partners if he sits back and waits to come in number 5, he's got to try and get as much out of the players that is at the wicket as possible, and get as what he can to help his team establish, a lead or get the runs that are necessarily needed. 92 not out of 147. That only left, 50 runs for the other players to get.
Yeah.
He starts ruining the actors.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, he's definitely got his work cut out, and I mean, his focusing on his innings. It's almost like he's coaching out in the middle. He's got to read the game. His mind's busy, but I have to give him credit. Like he's doing it. He's doing it for Rangers. Week in and week out, he's amongst the runs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I have to give him his credit where it's due. I mean, okay, we go say that the first division isn't as competitive as the Premier, but at the end of the day, he's consistent. He's still delivering. Because if he wasn't, we'd be saying we'd be saying something different. So he's doing what he has to do, but it's just unfortunately the team isn't got the skill level that he has. Or 2 or 3 other players got the skill level that he has to really take Rangers, to put them back in that promotion spot or help them to fight for promotion.
Yeah. Well, we talked about Rangers winning yesterday. Today they were on the end of a defeat like no other that they were probably ever had. Warwick Workmen's won by 111 runs. Warwick Workmen's at Southampton Oval defeated Southampton Rangers. Southampton Rangers won the toss and sent Warwick Workmen to bat. They would score 355 for 2. Malachi Jones and Luke Horan shared a 347 first wicket partnership. Jones was the top scorer of 195, which came off on 163 balls. He had 24 fours and 6 sixes. Horan scored 120 off of 128 balls. He had 9 fours and 3 sixes. Dante Bregman took 1 for 44 off of 10, that included a maiden. In reply, Southampton Rangers were bowled out for 244. Again, Dalen Richardson, top scorer for 60. Jody Maroney was the pick of the Warwick Workmen's Club bowlers with 4 for 46 from 10 overs. But that partnership lasted, I think, until the 47th over. 347 runs between the two for a first wicket partnership. Horan, when he's got the ball in his hand, seems to enjoy bowling. I didn't know he enjoyed batting that much either, but it looked like he was having some fun today. Because if you look at his strike rate, right? If you look at his strike rate, he scored 120 off of 128. So he's not letting the dot ball. He's running between the wicket. What I mean? If you look at he hit 9 fours and 3 sixes. So he's scoring a run of ball close to it. So he's not letting the bad ball, the good ball. He's not even letting the good ball go by.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, that's what 50 runs in boundaries. I scored 120. So that's like 60% running between the wickets. 347 run partnership is. I've never heard of that before.
It must be a record.
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, it'd be nice to know. I mean, I was up there. I looked at the wicket. It was a bit flat. Easy track wasn't okay. Guys wasn't running in like you would have thought, but nevertheless, 347 run partnership is monumental. I mean,
when do you walk off? When do you walk off after 40?
Yeah, and I mean they only lost 2 wickets.
Two wickets, yeah.
2 wickets, and their boys came to bat. I think it was like you said, the 47th over, something like that there.
Yeah.
So and then he got both of them, the 2 batsmen, Stephen Deal and the other young man, they got 3 not out.
Yeah.
So each.
I mean, that's interesting for Dalen to send Warwick in. Maybe when they done it yesterday, in PAC's victory,
right.
They came from behind they beat PAC. They're probably thinking, try to do the same thing with Warwick, but sometimes you got to remember playing at range is a different field, a different wicket. Sometimes it's easier to get, don't gonna be tired being out there that long on the field. It's probably, I mean, sometimes you have to try to weigh up your options. I mean, if you're home, the wicket looks good, Even
Mhm.
towards you put work out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Bet like get damn tired. But it's kind of hindsight. I wasn't there. Maybe make sure the team probably was there. Let's feel first, but I'm sure they'll be looking back at that and saying, next time, like, I'm gonna get our runs too, because
Yeah, get off first.
that's a lot of runs, man. That's
Yeah.
is like I said, it's got to be one of the records. I'm never. I don't know if Ryan heard of that. I've never heard that.
I never heard
Oh,
of
Lord. I
it.
mean, even though it's first division cricket, it's still 340, and these guys bet 40 something overs.
Yeah.
Gee, some teams just about bet 40 overs.
Yeah, I mean, they enjoyed that. They enjoyed each other's company out in the middle. And
Mhm.
with that said, Malachi's there, he scored 195. Luke Horn scored 120. One thing that we haven't mentioned, that young man's only 15 years old.
Yeah.
It's
He's
50.
15 years old and scoring runs like that. So, the future looks bright again. So
Yeah,
Malachi obviously would have like guided them through the innings, encouraged them
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Season player, been around, World Cup player, cup match. You know what I mean? He's won many titles with Southampton Rangers. So, he shared his maturity and helping guide the young man to it. And apparently that was his first, listening to the spectators on the side, that was his first 100 he scored. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's something that he'll never forget for the rest of his life. you know?
Exactly.
So,
The man's got a hat trick this year. He's got a hat trick this year at Devonshire Rack. Now he's got a century at Rangers. He's had a remarkable season
he is,
So far.
he is.
so
Yeah.
far. Yeah.
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 But the thing about it, you remember Luke Horn, he always could bowl, but initially when I used to coach him in the under 15s and the under 12s, when he used to come out to BHS, he was always a batsman. He can play his shots, but he had a tendency like he likes to hit the ball.
Right.
So we had to remind him, like, every ball can be hit, but then, when he was in the nets, you could see him, he was a pretty decent, he's a really good all-rounder. It's nice to see him now maturing, like at 15 to score a century, and now, really, really put his mind to betting, because he can bet, like you said, but he is a genuine all-rounder. He can bowl too. But I think his best thing for me, just me personally, like he can bet, and I'm glad Warwick has pushed him up, because I think before he was betting low in the order,
Yeah.
So it's nice to see him going up in the top 3.
I think last season weren't he betting 6 or 7 like that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. He was betting on it, and I think it's more years as a bowler.
Yeah. They keep mix matching their lineup. I'm gonna have to talk to my roomie and figure out what's going on, why they keep changing guys around. I don't know if it's what time they get there or what time they throw the game out or what.
It's interesting. It's
Malachi and Stephen.
yeah. I've been doing a lot of swapping around.
Yeah, so we'll have to figure this out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But I tell you what, they ain't gonna change that for a little while.
oh well, yeah. Don't change.
No, they ain't
it.
gonna break that right now. They're gonna leave that for a little while.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
might afford the opening partnership I've been looking for.
Yeah.
Might afford it. Yeah.
Well, at least to the end of the season, they're gonna use that strategy. Those two.
Sure.
What is
Yeah, well.
Warwick's record? 4-1.
I think they've lost twice as well. They lost to. They lost to,
Didn't they lose against Devonshire Rack too?
and they lost
Or
to Devonshire Rack. Yeah, they lost 2 games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
but they're still in the runnings. I mean, it's
Oh
good.
yeah, they on.
Yeah, it's Rack. It looks like a
That's
Rack and Warwick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
BH is slowly slipping out of the runnings. I mean, it'd be interesting when Chris comes back, but it might be just too late.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and Devonshire Rack's got George O'Brien down there. He scored 100 down there last week.
Yeah.
He got a couple of wickets. So,
Yeah.
Rudell's recruiting him. Rudell's
Yeah.
recruiting him.
Yeah.
Close your eyes, and listen to him talk. You'll think it's St. David's out there.
Yeah. They got two guys, Shaquille Pitchers, not a Bay player too.
Yeah.
He's had a
yeah.
good
For a little all-rounder.
He's had a good season.
He's had a good
He's had a good
season,
season.
betting ball. They got a few more technical youngsters out there that you can, like with George there, it's school for a lot of the younger players. They can look up to George, but I'm saying good for the experience, but like they have some players there that's been with them for a little while, so you know, damn, man, I think damn will work. You can't count out PAC yet. It's
No.
still quite a few more games to go, so it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see how it's going to pan out with those 3 teams.
And again, remember, we're going to be playing a lot of Saturday and Sunday cricket. So it's availability. It's all those things coming to play. Rather, so
Exactly.
teams should be looking for
Yeah.
run rates right now, as well as beings. They should be looking for run rates. So,
Exactly.
Another thing, if you guys, every time you guys are talking about somebody getting 5-wicket hauls, and I said it a show or two ago, is the spinners. The spinners are getting a lot of wickets, a lot of practice, 4 or 5
Yeah.
wickets, not to count out any of the seamers, you have some seamers that are really doing well, Zico and
Yeah.
St. George's and the boy Proctor,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
spinners are really getting a lot of wickets right now. The
Yeah.
conditions, it's dry, the ball's turning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's a lot. Spinners are getting a lot of practice right now.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Just like
yeah.
today, they opened up with Agard, and I think he got the first 2 wickets or 3 wickets, with spin, and they kept spin one end, and then medium the other, and then vice versa. But all the teams now are trying spin somewhere in their power play,
Yeah.
Right. So
and it's working out for them. Any team that
let me ask you two guys, experience-wise, back in your day, when a spinner comes on, do you change your guard? Do you especially if you know what the spinner's bowling on a regular basis? Do you change your guard?
No, I would never change my guard. I still keep the same guard. But sometimes I might just either bet deeper on my crease, or I might, I tendency to go a little bit deeper in my crease just so I didn't get a little stumper. Because sometimes you got to remember, for the faster builder, sometimes you just only your a wicket a bit, depending who's building fast builder, then you go back. So anything, I keep the same guard, but I just go probably a little bit deeper in my crease to allow the ball to come to you.
Okay. What about you, Ryan?
Oh, I never lasted long when I was, playing in my day. So, I was up before the spinners came on the ball, like,
It's all right.
But no, I mean, some batsmen do tend to change their guard, like, for an off spinner, like, they were probably going off stump, leg spinner, they'll probably just bat outside, just outside leg stump. So it depends on, the batsman and, where they feel that the high percentage scoring shot is, for the off spinner or the leg spinner. You know what I mean? So yeah, some batsmen do change their guard. You know what I mean? Not everybody.
I only ask that because I think some of our batsmen lack patience, and and you say the ball's turning big, Ryan, because it's been dry and it's been, but if they change the guard a little bit, it forces the bowler now to bowl a little wider at times. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's difficult. Like, some guys play the sweep shot good. Right. So they will change their guard to bat on off stump, like, so they could. So anything coming down center leg, they'll go sweep you. I don't care where you come, anything on center leg, they're going to sweep you. So the off spinner, just say it's an off spinner bowling. So obviously their off spinner is going to try to bowl outside the off stump. So they, like Ryan said, they will change their guard for that. But or some guys like to play off the back foot, try to cut. Like they might want to bat on leg, so they get themselves room to cut. Right. Sometimes I would do that, depending, like I said, if it's an off spinner or a leg, like a leggy. I normally bet instead of betting center, I'll probably bet 2 legs. Sometimes to give myself more room to cut. But for the off spinner, I'm betting on center, maybe center or close to off. So if he builds anywhere down center leg, I'm gonna try to sweep in all the time, especially if it's a good off spinner.
Right.
So it is variations. It is some, but now with T20 and everything else, these guys, I mean, like, geez, sometimes they didn't have to change the guard. They just reverse sweep you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was gonna mention that. I mean, like, the way cricket is now, I mean, back in the day, you practice your drives, your own drives,
exactly.
And now, man, and I do a lot of research on the internet. Coaches are, you're practicing your reverse sweeps and all these unorthodox cricket shots that you once never played when you was growing up. You grow up, you was taught to play through the V. Now you got to be able to play 360. You know what I mean? That's how cricket has gone now. You got to be able to play all round cricket. You know what I mean? So, in Bermuda, you don't really see too many guys reverse sweeping and
Yeah.
necessarily moving the feet fast enough, getting onto the pitch and driving it down long on low
Yeah.
for ones and twos. So I feel that's one of the reasons why you see the spinners getting 4 or 5 wickets every week. Batsmen are moving, in my opinion, batsmen are moving their feet enough. You know what I mean, to counteract these spin bowlers. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Exactly.
majority of it's off spin. You know what I mean? Bermuda, you got the old left armor, the
Yeah.
Darryl Gremlins and all that.
Mm.
But it's the same. It's just builders are just pitching it maybe in different areas and batsmen are getting out. I mean, I watched the guy today after batting such a long time. A straight off break just went right through the gap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just batting fair time instead of getting down and just punching it for ones and twos. It's just. Again, that comes from not wanting to run between the wicket, just looking for that boundary ball. If you're looking to run between the wicket, you easily get down to the pitch and punch down long one for a single or two.
Yeah.
Well,
But
that's Doc. Yeah.
no, I was saying what Ryan was saying, like, it's coming on the wicket and punching the ball on your one side or the other side, whatever. But back in my day when I was doing it, I just didn't go out there and sweep any bowler. I used to practice during like training sessions sweeping. You know what I mean? You probably could do about 50, 30 balls or somebody just throwing it to you and you practice your sweeping. No, jeez, don't go from sweeping to reverse sweeping. And that's what a lot of, like you say, a lot of the players is doing that now. I mean, all around the world. So, hey Ryan, could you imagine doing a reverse sweep and you got out when we was playing? you ain't betting no more.
Yeah.
But nowadays they don't even care if they get out because it's a shot that they do, and once it comes off, it looks good. But once you get out, it looks so bad. But I'm just saying, we'll come down the wicket and play on the one side, play on the other side. I never think of doing reverse sweeping, but that's coaching. It's just in the coach. That's part of coaching now.
It's manual now.
Yeah, that's coaching manual, mate.
If you would have tried to reverse sweep back in the day when we was playing, you would have had the whole bank. The whole bank would have been in you.
Yeah.
The other man, you feel so cheap. But I mean, the other man, you feel so small. And don't do it, and then you got to go on the field afterwards. Inside the circle. Because if you get on the boundary, I mean, you're getting hurt nonstop. But I mean, nowadays, man, you're teaching players to do them type of things.
Yeah.
You're teaching players to reverse sweep and paddle and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's take a second commercial break. When we come back, we'll have women's cricket and then, obviously, players of the week. We'll be right back.
How you doing? It's Coach Bascomere. Listen, I just want to introduce, to let you know that, guess what? Oh yeah, I've been Dawson Salt. Now, you know what this is for, right? Yep. Smelly shoes. Those days that you're coming back from training, sneakers. Yep. You start, you sitting them in your house, you got them in your room, and you got them in your closet, and you're getting that smell come through. Well, this is what it's for. Excited about it. Excited to promote because I believe in it. Because I know when I was outdoors, especially, this is definitely what I needed. Hey, even look at the packaging. Very, very professional company. Done on so much work. Yeah, with the material, with the bag. Listen, I'm excited about it. Glad to be a partner with them. Glad to be endorsing this product. Yeah. And here we go. Get your bag.
Welch's, makers of the world's best-known Concord grape juice, have been based in Concord, Massachusetts since halfway through the 19th century. We've often featured this unique beverage due to its impressive health benefits and bold, unmistakable flavor. Welch's has gone on to diversify their range over the years, successfully launching many new juice-powered products designed for refreshment and flavor. With the imminent holiday season in mind, we're featuring Welch's Sparkling Grape Juices, the ideal non-alcoholic party refreshers brought to us by John Barrett & Son Limited. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
And welcome back. Well, yesterday saw the start of the Bermuda Cricket Board's Women's League at Police Field, the first game of the season. So Warwick Workman win by 3 wickets over Western Stars. Western Stars scored 54 for 5 in their 10 overs, and Warwick Workman scored 55 for 7 in their 10. They scored those winning runs on the last ball of the game, Doc. You know, it's good to see that the women were enjoying themselves out there. You know, still a lot of development to be done, but at least they're started somewhere.
I agree. I'm just glad it all started because it's been postponed, it's been canceled. The girls have been training early, and then it stopped for a while. You know, they were supposed to play, and then of course, like the field was in ready. The first time was canceled. And then the girls got a little, and then of course May 24th, so they made it to Offord's. But I'm just glad that it's all working. I mean, the wicket was good on Saturday, and even though we were short, a few teams were short on players, it was only because there was a lot of graduations on. I know Stars, we had like 2 or 3 players that couldn't play because of graduation, stuff. And Warwick had a full team. Devonshire Rec struggled with a few players, but it's just good to see the girls back out playing. Whether it be T10 or T20. And like you said, both of the games were close. I even watched Stars game went on to the last ball, and the last game went to the last ball, but it was a controversy between the Devonshire Rec and Somerset Bridge. It was a little controversial because it was I didn't know what transpired. I thought it was a tie, but come to find out, Rec ended up winning because they won by one run, innit?
Yeah. What happened was the school board had the total and not the target.
Right. So the girls got confused on the field. So that's something that could be rectified too. And like you said, the women sometimes they don't look at all that, but it was good. I mean, both games was keenly contested because they went on to the last ball. Both games.
So there you have it. I mean, when you look at it, at least we're started now, and we'll be underway week in and week out. So. Before we get into our this week's players of the week, I want to go back to last week's players of the week and some of the top performers from last week. We had Alan Douglas scoring 86, Jabari Darrow scoring 67, Devin Dill for PHE also scored 67. Treddy Gibbons from Cleveland County scored 60. Ori Wilson from PHE scored 51. Zico Bridges, 9.5 overs, 2 maidens, 7 for 23. Luke Horan, 5 overs, 1 maiden, 5 for 12. Alan Douglas, after those 86, 6.4 overs, 1 maiden, 4 for 14. Colon Richardson from Rangers, 4 for 19. Paul Carr Harvey, 4 for 36. Also in the Western Stars Somerset game, we had 92 from Trey Manders. You had Azar Morrissey taking 3 for 33 for Somerset. Jordan De Silva, 3 for 29. And Dominique Sabir, 2 for 24. That match went down where Western Stars won by 3 runs over Somerset. In the Somerset inning, they got 34 from Dominic Sabir, 30 from Kofi Robinson, 22 from Al.J. Richardson, Jordan got 25, but the top order, they just could not get any more runs needed to get close enough. In the bowling department, Seth Campbell 2 for 42, Naquan Smith 2 for 31. So looking at those numbers, who do you guys say stands out for you? Again, you had that 7-wicket haul for Zico, helping St. George's to win. But then you had that all-round performance from someone like Alan Douglas, 86, 4 for, 4 for whatever the runs were, 4 for 14 for Cleveland. So over to you.
Wow.
Let me ask you, Doc.
Well, I was kind of leaning towards either Allen or Zico. But I saw trades in it at 92 too. That was a good innings. That's the reason why Stars won that game. But I'm kind of leaning towards being that Allen's got that all-rounder, 69 or 4 wickets, but you can't get Zico 7 wickets, man. That's and Zico's been bowling good all season. It's his one of the premier strike bowlers in the honor that's on form. So me personally, I'm leaning towards Zico.
Okay. Ryan?
Mandus, I'm gonna have to agree. 7 wickets against a Bayless Bay team. This boy Zika has been in some really good form this year, man. This guy's got wickets every week. Every week, his name is amongst the wickets, and he's been in some good form, man. So I second that. Zika without a doubt.
Okay. I was leaning towards Allen, but hey, 2 is better than 1.
2-1.
Well, anyway, congratulations, Zico, Player of the Week for last week. Now this week we had some really, really outstanding performances. And you look at yesterday in the Somerset St. David's game, you had Dominic Sabir. He would score. Just getting in the numbers here. He would score 62 and then take 5 wickets for 23 runs in 8.4 overs that included a maiden. And today you had someone like Derek Brangman scoring 127 and then claiming 5 wickets for 28 from 10.2. Not to be outdone, you had those 3 wickets from Kushai Darrow, 4 wickets from Isaiah Greaves. The 5 wickets. 5 wickets for Derek. Dowry Rollins with 86. Michael Lagarde with 82. Seth Campbell 3 for 57. Con Edness 99 before being run out. Somebody should lend him a run. You had now the yesterday's game, Dalen Richardson scoring 92 to help Southampton Rangers defeat PHC by the 7 wickets. You had Rangers, you had Dante Brangman taking 5 wickets for 33 runs, and Mackay Jacobs taking 4 wickets for 21. But then that partnership today between Malachi Jones and Luke Horan of 347, that first wicket partnership. Jones scoring 95 and Horan scoring 120. Again, Dalen Richardson amongst the runs with 60. Which performance stands out? And I'm going to go with you, Ryan, first this time.
All right. So, it's quite a few to choose from. But my choice is because he played against the top team who was undefeated, and a 60-odd and a 5-wicket haul to knock them off their perch. I'll have to go with the boy from Somerset, Sabir. It might be seem odd against the guys who's got the hundreds, but I'm looking at the circumstance. I'm looking at the bigger picture. I'm looking at who he played against, and why. And that was why I gave that choice of him to be my pick of the week.
All right. Well, I'm gonna put Doc on the spot because I'm gonna go no. I'm gonna go no, and then it's gonna be up to Doc. I'm actually gonna go with the performance of Jones and Horan.
You can only pick one, isn't it?
Well, no. Like I said, the
No?
performance of those two. I'm going with their performance. That 347 combined needs recognition. So that's my pick. So Doc, it's up to you.
Why, you must have been reading my mind. I said to myself, I was going to ask you the question. I said, I like Derek was 5 for 12 and then 127 runs against
Willa Cox.
against today's game against Cuts. But I'm looking at the team, but even though he brought them out of trouble because they was in a bit of trouble and he made 120 something and there's 5 wickets. I'm leaning towards that. And I said, you know something? I'm leaning towards Malachi and your boy Luke Horan. I like to give both of those guys. Well, I think that's a record. I like to give both of those guys the most. Give it to them. And now you could get both of them to come in. I agree with you, Earl. Sorry, Ryan.
No, that's cool. I was thinking individual, but the way you guys put it, okay, cool. I'll with my tail between my legs.
No, we have game too. Sometimes on the show, we can't come up with a agreement, so we just say, look, just give it to both. And for these two, Earl beat me too. I wish I was going to do because that's what I was going to say. I said I was going to give it to Luke Horan and Malachi Jones.
About the rookie, that's me. I have to take the loss on this one. I give you okay. But I know
because I think that's a record.
I understand you, and I think no matter and to be honest, no matter who you play against, you've got to score the runs in order to make those history making things. And the people that were there to watch that will probably never see that again.
Exactly.
And it will be special for them, not only for the batsmen, but for the team that they were playing against as well, because you look around and you say, man, I was part of that. You don't want to be the other side of it, but you were part of it. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
Something to be remembered by. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining this evening on the Island Stats Cricket Show. We'll be back next week Sunday with another edition. Do enjoy your night.
Cool, guys.
Yeah.